Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast.
Coming to you out of SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 236. Hello out there, I'm your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and here as always, except when he's not, is B.T. Calloway.
I feel the need to tell you that Elliot J. O'Neill has a surprising number of lit candles in his bathroom for someone who's not currently taking a bath.
And also here is Phil Puff.
I was going to say something else, but now the candle bathroom thing's really thrown me.
I mean, that was the plan. So,
Right, well-
welcome to Thronesville, baby.
Right. Well,
Population you.
just me in this whole town.
Possibly the other people on this podcast in the future.
Am I like the guy from Scooby-Doo who runs the post office, the pub, the bank, and the other place?
Sure.
Yeah, great. Get out of this town.
Fine. I did a big stinky shit before you guys arrived, and it was my best idea to cover the smell, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling podcasters.
Haha.
Anyway, this is the Simpsons Index. We review Simpsons,
And
like
candles.
this episode. What was your favourite of the many candles I had lit?
No, I didn't actually. The general ambience was lovely. So, it was just like, there's a lot of lit candles.
I like the cherry one.
They're nice.
I like cherries.
Yeah.
Well, not like cherry flavoring though, like candy cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fake cherry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, cherry flavoring is always fake cherry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything's fake. Nothing is real. There's no such thing as a banana.
Yeah, I can't imagine they ground up fresh cherries and bananas into candles.
No,
Or
probably
maybe
not.
they do.
I don't know how flavor
I would
works.
imagine that bananas don't burn very well.
You ever tried?
No, but
Let's get a wick and a banana.
I know. If you've told me there was one fruit that could actually burn like a candle, banana would be pretty top of my list. This is a weird episode. Very candle heavy.
well, that's kind of all you're doing in your,
It is.
Yeah.
your amazing segue into Candle World.
Beats talking about the episode we're about to review, which was Season 34, Episode 7, From Beer to Paternity. First released in November of 2022, it was directed by Rob Oliver, written by Christine Nangle? Christine Nangle. In this episode, Duffman is losing in the election for Duff's new mascot, and to drive his numbers up lies about having a daughter, which turns out to be Lisa, but then it turns out he actually has a daughter, and
Yep.
then enlists the help of Homer because he's apparently such a great dad. And then they go on a road trip to find his daughter. Shenanigans ensue. Hey guys, what do you think?
It's all right.
I actively thought to myself, I don't hate this episode, but I also feel nothing for this episode.
Mm.
Like, it was very much just taking up my time. Not in a bad way. Like, I didn't hate it enough to enjoy hating it.
Yeah.
But it was just
Oh, yeah.
a
Nothing
bit of-
about it made me angry, and it was veering towards some dangerous territory at a certain point where they're like, oh, they're going to cancel culture Duffman. So, oh, for fuck's sake, are we doing this?
No, I thought
But then
when
we
they-
didn't. So, like, oh, thank God. Well, sort of didn't. There were bits, but, you know,
They were, well,
it wasn't the focus.
one of the other things was Woktopus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Made those sort of cringy jokes about like new nomenclature and sayings, and like did it in a way that couldn't offend because it was kind of just confusing about why it was there.
Yeah.
And I suppose there was a little bit of that cancel culture stuff with Duffman saying all the
Hinted
wrong things
at.
at all the wrong time.
Yeah.
So it was done reasonably well because it wasn't super on the nose and it was from a character that you would expect it to be.
Yeah,
But I don't
and
know.
you kind of understood that most of it was just mistakes rather than genuine,
Yeah.
malice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they weren't calling it out as like, oh,
Yeah.
what do the young people hate now? Oh, they hate hard cider.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's like they were skirting on these like hot topic issues, especially the whole, how can I be sexist? I have a daughter, the Scott Morrison defense as we
Yeah.
know it in Australia. Like, and so it acknowledged these things exist and these problems exist, but then like, I don't know, didn't have that
Wasn't
like
the
classic
point or-
Simpsons
yeah.
touch on, saying something profound or anything about it. It was just, here's the thing. All right, moving on.
Yeah, I mean, the closest we get is Marge and Lisa being like, oh, no one's going to fall for that anymore, and then people fall for it, because I guess people probably still do.
Mm.
I mean, but given the fact that it wasn't the focus, I don't know how much to really talk about it. It was there, sort of.
Yeah.
It was there. It was
Reasonable?
reasonably touched upon. It wasn't in your face. I don't think it certainly wasn't a detriment, and it wasn't the focus.
No.
But I think also because we're talking about that so much now,
Mm.
it shows that the story was kind of just there.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we'll either struggle to find things to talk about, or we'll go into deep dives on very small points, or we'll go back to candles. I don't know.
I like it. The candle safety net.
Yeah.
Which will win the election of the topics of this podcast? Vote now. By going to patreon.com/SideQuestStudios,
If you
maybe?
want to vote
And
for
back
cherry
in
candles,
time.
press 1. If you want to vote for Duffman, press 2.
I don't know what you're pressing these numbers on.
Yeah.
The computer.
And if you want to, make us talk about candles for a full episode, go to patreon.com/SideQuestStudios and enter our new candle tier.
Yep. We
You
would
guys-
burn for your donations. What?
No, I was going to say, you guys should definitely have a what should we talk about in an episode Patreon level.
Yeah, stupid expensive level. We will just make a podcast about whatever they recommend.
I will sign up.
Yep. Fine. I guess we're talking about antique clocks this episode.
Oh, I'll talk.
But until then, BT, for better or worse, what stands out to you from this episode?
We've had a few of these latter day episodes that feel like amalgamations of previous ones, because
Yep.
this feels a bit like Daddy Daughter Day smashed with Krusty finding out he has a daughter.
Ah, true, yeah.
And that, it's not, it almost treads new ground, but ultimately I'm just left with the idea that those two episodes are better.
Yeah.
And they handle very similar topics, like,
Yeah.
especially, whichever one, Sunday, Cruddy Sunday is Daddy Daughter Day, I think. Or was it-
Lisa the Greek.
Lisa the Greek. Ah, that's right. That's it. There's just so many goddamn episodes.
It's
Um,
only like 750.
I know,
You should
I
be
can't
able
believe
to remember them pretty well.
Yeah, which
I
handles the
remember none of
emotional call much better. And that was what stood out. Along with
Just on your point, though, there was like one moment which really stood out to me, which I was like excited because, familiar ground, but here's a new developing idea on it, which was when Duffman goes to Homer, you seem like such a good dad. I'm not doing the voice, but
yeah, you could
it's
be.
offensive to Duffman.
Duffman.
Yeah. There's more than one. Watch all 750
I mean,
episodes. It'll
Yeah, to be fair, they start showing ads from 1951 with
Yeah.
Duffman, and it's like that's not the same. Duffman.
how could it be? But yeah, anyway, so Duffman involves Homer, and then you're like, okay, this is the usual. We got to get Homer involved in the story somehow. But then he goes, and bring Lisa. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool.
That
Road
was
trip
better.
with Homer and Lisa, Duffman, and
Yeah, as an absolute highlight, I did enjoy everything surrounding the Agatha Christie Museum. That
Yeah?
was pretty funny. I did, especially they give you a tea tray to drop when you discover a dead body. Oh, okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that would have been actually quite interesting to see. They go to the Agatha Christie Museum, but you kind of knew the moment something else came up.
The second there were two things, it's like, okay, he's going to have to prioritize one or the other, and that'll either be a heart moment where he picks Lisa, or it'll be the, failure moment where he goes with the other thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
And again, to be fair, Homer was keeping an eye on the time. He was just looking at a non-real clock.
Yeah,
But he
mascot,
he was genuinely trying, at least,
Mm.
to some degree.
Yeah, I guess general incompetence rather than malice is to blame
exactly. And he could have looked at that watch that manifests only when he needs it. But
there. Well, he obviously didn't need it enough.
yeah, true.
I
Because he
think that
thought he
tells you-
didn't. He had a clock, or what he thought was a clock.
Tells you more what you need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know if, the rest of the episode sort of, I don't know, lived up to that potential.
No, Lisa forgave him very quickly. They have
Yeah,
one
right.
conversation in the car where they're using Duffman as a metaphor for their relationship. And Lisa is pretty much okay at this point. She's like, oh, I hope they work it out, Dad. I really hope they work it out. It's like, you
Yeah.
seem okay for someone that was furious 10 seconds
Yeah,
ago.
Just said, never speak to me again.
Yeah, because that was my big heart moment, the heartbreak moment of okay, that felt very real.
Yeah.
And because it's not just that she missed out on the Agatha Christie Museum, it's that the bigger reveal that Homer's like, I'm sorry, I messed up. I didn't even think you'd have fun on this. That's why I didn't want to bring you. He's like, oh,
I didn't think you're fun at all.
Yeah.
Like, you're
Oh, really? To say that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
I thought he said you wouldn't have any fun.
Oh, that's the implication I got then. I
Alright.
feel like, yeah.
I
Both,
heard,
down in the
both can be true. Yeah.
yeah. Which, given that's a heavy blow,
Yeah,
is resolved very quickly, which is the biggest detriment to this episode.
absolutely. Phil, what stands out to you from this episode for better or worse?
I think the intro where the Simpsons on the couch are made of food is probably a standout
Mm.
because I didn't like it to start with. Then I was slightly impressed with how good it was, and then I hated it.
Then they splooshed it with gravy.
Pushed with gravy, and
And I
I
had Homer go, gravy. It's like, no, that's one bit too many. I was fine with the visual, and then you had to add a
even
little
with the
bit extra.
visual, I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, it's something.
it made me think,
It was quick.
why it was quick, which is its saving grace. But I'm like, why?
Yeah, well, it's actually this trend that we're noticing, even in the shorter couch gag, because, too often these days, the couch gags are just these big elaborate sketches which are a tribute to fucking whatever recent movie was out a year ago. But yeah, this one was like, yeah, nice simple idea, an IRL thing, cutting the Simpsons out from food. Yeah, fine. But then, yeah, the extension just didn't work. It's like the other week when we had that one where it was like, yeah, the guy carved out the Simpsons from stone and then was like, and then carved out like some
Chalmers
random...
on a horse, I think.
Yeah.
Or it looked like Chalmers. Yeah, and it's like, I liked the initial idea just fine. Just stop. You can. They're meant to be quick anyway.
Yeah, like first season, the family can't all fit on the couch and then Bart gets squished out onto the floor. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're thinking too much about what the couch gags are. And they just be like, you know what? The TikTok generation. Just be like, The Simpsons, and go straight into it.
And the gravy just had some other weird visual implications of just, splashing brown liquid on the Simpsons.
Yeah, it wasn't very appetizing after all that.
Certainly put me off my dinner of Simpson.
Simpson nuggets.
I actually remember when I was a kid, they had the Simpsons macaroni cheese. Do you ever remember where they do
that would have been your crossover in heaven.
Wait,
I
what?
actually
mac and
died then.
cheese.
Was it the macaroni that was shaped as the Simpsons, or
Yeah.
the cheese? Right.
The cheese was shaped like the
The
Simpsons.
cheese
I
was
don't know
yellow
where the
like
rest
the
of that sentence
Simpsons.
was going.
I don't know if you remember those like shaped macaroni cheeses though, where they'd have like the Simpsons on the box. Oh, cool cartoons, but the reality was these weird fucking ass pasta shapes that had weird joining parts that just didn't make them look like the things anyway.
Right, I'm not a huge macaroni cheese fan, so I didn't really.
Yeah.
Not even when you were 12.
Even core concept is like, hey, do you like this show? Well, eat the cast.
Yeah, they did that a lot in the States. There was a lot of TV serials based on TV shows in the States.
It was still weird.
Let's see if it'd be good if anyone like actually had some pictures of them.
You got a whole
Google
bunch of
images.
Homer like morphing into mac and cheese that should be the new background of your computer.
Yeah, like the Homer
Coming out of the hedge.
Yeah, that's the one.
T1000ing through the hedge, but it's macaroni.
I can't find the picture, but yeah. Anyway,
I believe you. I believe you that it also wasn't great, but
it's macaroni cheese. You don't eat it because it's great. You eat it because it's amazing.
right, way to take me on a journey.
And what stands out to me, it's just this classic thing where The Simpsons spent way too long on the setup and didn't leave enough room for the important shit at the end. Like the underused character of Amber Duffman.
Okay, we're going to play Who Was That Guest Star? Because my bet was Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, my bet is.
I just wrote down high guest voice.
I just realised I don't know any celebrities that weren't born in the 80s.
Name a woman.
Mum.
It's not a real name, it's a stage name.
No. Well, it's still. Oh, did I just dead name her?
Is she like grandma now or something?
She has alternate titles.
Yeah. Oh.
But now I can't think of anyone but Aubrey Plaza. I'm gonna say.
Well, it was Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, it was Aubrey Plaza. April from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, which is interesting because she's getting mum roles now.
Yeah.
So
She was the voice of in Little Demon, a cartoon about Satan's Antichrist daughter starring Danny DeVito and Lucy DeVito.
She's the mum in that, though. That's the
Yes.
important part. Yeah.
Right.
And she's the mum in the Child's Play remake and some other
is
things.
she?
Yeah.
Huh.
That is a weird movie.
She plays like a part of a young couple in The White Lotus.
Mm.
She's like the wife of a
is that-
tech billionaire.
I haven't seen season 2. Is that season 2?
Yeah. Very good. I still think season 1's better, but season 2 was pretty solid.
I know this isn't a White Lotus podcast. However, that was a show where really just a bunch of things never happened. It was like
It's like real life.
always promising that something might happen and then just didn't deliver anything.
What kind of things? We're sitting there going, oh, I hope that tornado full of velociraptors doesn't come
there's
this
like
way.
the whole thing with the two friends who were part of the family and the guy, and like they were going to get into some stuff, and then it didn't happen, and then the mum and the dad of the rich family, where like he was going to do, I don't know, it just seemed like there was a lot of things like, oh, look at this building up, look at this scenario building up, and I don't worry, it's over.
Well, yeah, and I didn't know it was like an anthology thing, and like I was like, oh, this leaves so much open for series 2, which was then an anthology thing and just didn't return to any character except Jennifer Coolidge, which was cool in its own way.
Oh, right.
Coolidge,
Interesting.
in its own way.
Yeah. Yeah. So White
That's
Lotus. I think we're going to talk about that on a So Do You Like stuff, or we already have.
We already have, or we will, however time works.
Available on Patreon. Oh my god, there's so many Patreon bumps in this episode.
Yeah.
So little to talk about. But if we could talk about, what do we think about Amber Duffman and that whole portrayal and character and arc and everything?
I think it was fine. Again, getting there was a bit weird because Duffman is all like cornered. He's like, I can't be sexist. I have a daughter. Which is, implied he's panicking and lying. But then he does have a daughter. But then he shows a photo of Lisa and like, oh, do you have a photo? But then later is like, I always carry this drawing she did when she was 6. It's like, why didn't you show the drawing then? Like, be like, oh, I don't have a photo of her, but I have this drawing she did when she was 6 and I carry it with me every day. It's like,
Apart from when I conveniently leave it in the car.
I mean, I get that, yeah, we had to get Homer into this somehow and get the Simpsons in, sure, whatever. It's just, it felt a little odd that both lies were totally unnecessary.
Yeah, I just feel like Amber Duffman, weird way of saying it, like she was in it enough time to be instantly annoyed when Duffman fails his test of will, then almost instantly in danger to be saved in a way that is not a fatherly way of saving, like literally saved her from a rolling keg of beer.
Yep. With his giant chick
with his
magnet
novelty thing. So it's
that he
kind of
was
like
not carrying.
the thing that he was, the thing that he chose over his daughter was the thing that saved his daughter in the end.
And that wasn't also the point.
And she resolved her problems with him because of that, rather than, I don't know, I just feel like it was halfway through the last act. She turns up, she's got to be angry, distressed, in danger, forgiving, and then tolerant.
Yeah, within about 3 minutes.
Yeah, it just seemed like that should have been the midpoint. That should have been the breaking point of Act 2. Like, you could lose a good 70% of the Duffman election stuff. Yep, it'd be a great gag.
Look, I like the opening of this with the boardroom, and I can't remember the phrasing, but it was something like, those days may have been the days, but these days aren't those days, the days were. Or something like that. Like, that was a good run.
That was all right.
And then harumph all you like. I like that because, boardroom full of fat old white guys. It's like, pretty good.
Yeah, I think that was all good, all quick jokes to get through. I don't know why Homer had to be the head of the Elect Duffman Commission. And I think what breaks down this episode for me is I don't really give a shit about Duffman that much.
No one does.
No.
Like, why do I want to see... Like, it's interesting, I guess, that he's the catalyst for the journey, and you can see that... Like, but he doesn't regret his life. I mean, he says, I think about her every day, but he's done nothing in all of those every days to kind of whatever the opposite of unestranged from his daughter. And then he's about to lose his job, and that's when he decides he starts caring about her. And then the moment where he has the cross the threshold, where he could be go to the party or knock on your daughter's front door, where he's already had the I'm not Duffman anymore. I want to do this. And I even wrote down, good crossing the threshold moment.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He goes back to the party.
Yeah.
And just like,
and then it gets explained away. Oh, yeah, we were playing the chicken fight, but he wasn't really there. It's like, this is the same bullshit with Homer before. There's just the forgiveness was way too quick. And I mean, I will pay it because the goofiness of the fucking chick magnet, and then it was set up before, and it was just
when he's waiting for his luggage, and his thing is just a giant magnet with chick magnet written on it. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah, and that it was used to reverse the beer keg up the hill was just that particular fucking. I get it if you hate it, but it was just that particular brand of cartooniness that it like. Okay, yeah, that fucking got me. I don't know. I also liked season 5, episode 1 of Breaking Bad because of the magnets, bitch. But you know.
Oh, I was wondering where you're going with that. How dare I ever question you or your candles?
Yeah, I thought when we first saw the chick magnet at the luggage claim at the airport, I just assumed it was a ridiculously shaped suitcase that was in the shape of a magnet.
Yeah.
Same.
I didn't actually think, it's a magnet and that's his only luggage.
Yeah, no, that's what we all thought. But to be fair, it also helped you forget that was a thing they set up.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I just feel like...
But yeah, I reckon they really should have saved a bit of time and effort by, having the daughters hate their dad moment like be combined. And both Lisa and Amber both are collectively pissed off, and then they hang out and they have a chat or something.
Yeah, or Duffman and Homer have to have a moment together where they talk and they discover their own weaknesses through pointing out the weaknesses of others or noticing the weaknesses of others and then inducing self-growth. But it just became, we had to get told that Homer was a bad dad by Lisa and also by Duffman, which is really kind of kicking a dead horse. And then I just feel like in the resolution at the end where Duffman is now no longer Duffman because he gives up his job for his daughter and he's now Puffman because his daughter's opening a pot shop. And
it's like that thing you abandoned me to do is pursue your career. Please use that exact career to promote my store. It
just seems like I only disliked you because of something when I was 6, and then all the things you are now, I totally accept and approve of. apart from the one time where you don't knock on my door.
Just to call back to that, part of the reason she never talked to him is because he cheated on her mother.
Yeah.
It's like, that would still be a wound.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, remember how you cheated on, broke Mum's heart and she had to leave you and that tore our family in half? Remember that, Dad? I'm still mad about it.
And you chose Duffman's lifestyle rather than coming to try and fix your family.
It
That's the
feels
reason I
like
don't
that
talk
would
to
still
you.
be a wound.
Yeah,
and,
turning up and
it's
being
just
a
too
green Duffman doesn't make that any better.
No. It's just because we know that Duffman's not going to be Puffman forever now. Like, they can't get Aubrey Plaza back that much to justify it, and it's just such a weird tag for this episode.
You know what? I'm going to say, just to skip ahead to what we would change, have Duffman fail.
Yeah,
and have the lesson to Homer be, this is your future if you don't work harder. Because that, I think, is better. Just because, A, it makes more sense that, you know, he has this whole, oh, you didn't like my Duffman personality. Well, I'm going to give it up for you, sweetie. And her being like, that was a third of the problem.
Yeah.
You are completely ignoring the rest of it, and you can't patch that up in an afternoon. And then have that be a lesson for Homer of like, yeah, things go up and down, but you've got to work.
Wait, sorry, it's just occurred to me. How old is she? Because he was doing
30.
the Duffman shtick in the 50s, 60s.
Well, to be fair,
It said that he'd had her, like, she was born before he became Duffman.
I think early on he does say she's 30 at some point, and then says at another point something about her graduating high school and then not having seen her for 10 years, so that makes her 28, 30-ish.
Yeah, but, like, don't you say, was that, like, the Duffman ads that took place before?
Yeah.
I just presume that was another
different
iteration of Duffman, like the Marlboro Man.
Yeah. That said, they could have made that clearer with having slight variations in previous Duffman. Like maybe they have the 50s ones is a bit more of your Don Draper type or something. And, you know, that would have been fun to see Duffman throughout the ages rather than the same dude rehashing the same shtick.
Anyway, The Simpsons in time. Well, whatever.
Yeah, don't even.
Honestly, it feels like we did the heart then. Was there anything else we wanted to say about the emotional core of this episode?
I honestly liked how enthusiastic Lisa got when she found out she was going to the Agatha Christie Museum.
Yeah.
And she's got like little plush dolls of Poirot and whoever else that person was. And for some reason, she's packing Agatha Christie books in her bag to take to the Agatha Christie Museum.
Yeah.
Like,
Get 'em signed.
I reckon they could have had a good time there. And they do it the other way around where, they've gone to Agatha Christie Museum to fulfill the promise to Lisa, but then they would have missed Duffman's date or interaction with his daughter. That can be the sacrifice. And he's like, I can see what it takes to make a good father now.
Yeah.
Rather than just playing back into old tropes. He's like, I didn't make it because I was here with my friend who has promised his daughter to do this, and I wanted to make sure that he did promise it, rather than that could have been the learning point for Duffman and also for Homer.
Yeah.
And then you could get your forgiveness.
That would have
of
been
the
the
daughter through
learning
that.
point for Amber to be like, I didn't want to make another man sacrifice what I already have lost or something like that.
Yeah. Like that
Yeah.
could have worked.
But yeah, they do like make the story unnecessarily more convoluted by including like that mascots convention that they go to for only the purpose of missing the Agatha Christie thing, which in the way you described, like is totally unnecessary. Then if we want,
Yeah, absolutely. And the minute he got the call from his agent going, there's a mascot convention in town.
Yep.
Like you knew the next 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
Like you knew they definitely go there. They definitely miss the thing with Lisa. Lisa would be upset. They'd fall apart. Someone would have to redeem themselves. I just didn't think the redemption would take 12 seconds.
Yeah. And it's not worth it. Even though I liked the Mucinex Loogie, still wasn't worth it for that. They could have had character conventions at some other point.
I'm 100% sure I missed 47 references to pop culture in that conversation.
And did we also miss who was playing his agent, Brandon?
Oh, yes.
Brandon Fraser.
No, he was in the season 9 episode, which I believe you were on as well, where they climbed the murder horn. Homer climbs the murder horn, and he's like the applesauce guy.
Brendan Fraser.
Yes. Paul Brittain. Paul Britton.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Neither do I. I forgot to look that up beforewards.
Yeah.
Well, I like how you look up Simpsons macaroni.
Look, priorities, Phil.
Yeah,
It's
well,
very
I mean,
simple.
No, that's why I said I like it.
Yeah.
But how about the wackiness? How were the wacky moments in this episode?
I mean, using the chick magnet, I do kind of like every time we cut back to the agent, he's doing a different kind of workout. And the last one, he's on a treadmill, which is submerged in water, and he's still on the phone in the same. It's that
My
kind of-
brother's dog Roxy does that.
Yeah, I didn't realize it is actually a thing.
Yeah.
But, it was an interesting escalation I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
felt very mid-90s sitcom-y, though.
Oh,
I mean, I appreciate it for like a visual
Oh,
gag.
yeah, he's definitely the slick 90s. I wear a headset to talk to people because I'm always.
And also the pretend to put the person you're on hold to take another call and then talk shit about the person you put on hold and then not have put them on hold.
Trope. There it is.
Ooh, hello. Yeah, that's a new one. I can get that made into a t-shirt.
T-shirt now available through our Patreon page at patreon.com/SideQuest
Do we get paid for the
Studios.
amount of times we say Patreon? Is it like a reverse advertising?
Nope.
Reverse that?
Oh, should we?
Yeah.
Dear Patreon, we would like to increase your viewership by mentioning you more. Please give us money.
Anyway, Paul Britton is a sketch comedy actor, did a couple of seasons of Saturday Night Live, was in The Kroll Show, Comedy Bang Bang, all that sort
He
of
did
stuff.
stuff.
All things that I have never seen.
Oh, you mean you haven't watched all fucking 48 seasons of SNL now?
I don't think I've ever seen an episode of SNL.
Really?
Well, mainly because when I was
Like bits,
16
maybe.
to 28, you couldn't watch it in Australia.
Yeah, true. Actually, to be fair, most of the way I saw it when I was a teenager was through the DVDs with like
the
actor
best of.
compilations. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Mike Myers was on heavy rotation in my house.
Yeah, right.
Sorry. Anyway, that's Paul Britton. Paul
Right.
Brittain. I don't know how to say his name because it's like Britain but with an extra T.
Britain.
Yeah.
Like Brita, like the water cooler.
Yeah. But with iron at the end.
Brita and...
Britain. Wacky moments.
Oh, yeah.
We covered those.
What about the sequence with Duffman going to places that he thinks is bars, but then the pigeons fly away?
Yeah.
So it was the women's bar, but there was a women's bar association, and he sprayed all the women lawyers with beer.
Yeah, and I do, even though it was the same bit, I do appreciate the next one was like women's pub lick defenders. It's like they're finding the same way to say the same thing, but a different style, from bar to pub. So that was, and then appreciate he did eventually move the pigeons.
I
But
did
yeah,
like where he just burst into the room and just yelled, "Look at all these dry t-shirts. Duffman can't be having that."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that was all right.
Yeah, it does show the flaw of the character nicely. And yeah, kind of would have been funny if you go into an actual bar, eventually got it right, and people just like, I don't want to be hosed with beer. What the fuck?
Well, I guess that's like kind of another failing of the episode in that they didn't really accurately demonstrate how much of from a bygone era that Duffman is.
Yeah, if that's what they're going for, there's plenty to mine, and it was not very economic in terms of storytelling because again, it took time away from where you needed time later.
Well, yeah, because he did come about like during the late 90s where there was a glut of that like sort of real, I don't know, spring break culture.
Yeah, well, it's a good version of when they're showing the ad from 1991 where there's grunge playing and he gets up and sprays them all with beer and it changes to glam rock and all the depressed teens become like bikini chicks.
Yeah.
That's funny. Or
Yeah,
there's
and I'm
even
pretty sure that's an ad.
there's even a better one in The Simpsons earlier where it's like, there's all those female protesters down with sexism. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, look at all those protests. Think of what I'm thinking. They shake up the beer and spray them and they just turn into bikini girls. Like,
Yeah.
illustrating the point really well. But yeah, there's something there. But again, it wasn't the focus, so I don't know how much you really want to spend on it.
Well, I mean, it is just an interesting decision to give him a full-on, like, focus story like this, because I think this is the most airtime that we've gotten, and yeah, what you're saying before, Phil, yeah, like, classic Duffman was done in total small doses, and, like, the most we got out of him was, like, that episode where, like, Santa's little helper replaced him,
Yeah.
but, like, he was in and out of, like, being out of that character very quickly, that they hinged an entire 3-act thing around him is, yeah, did they succeed at this?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, good on them for trying, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, the problem with having an instrument that plays only one note is that you only play it slightly. You don't come out and listen to what instrument has one note. Bongo.
There's 2 of them.
No,
We're going to get so many emails from
nobody
bongists.
goes to a half bongo convention. Yeah. Concert, damn it.
Convention, concert.
Even then, when you press on the middle and slap the outside, you can change the
A half
pitch.
bongo has no middle, Elliot. It's the half.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would truly be one note.
Yep. There you go. See? Done it. And I'm out of here.
Triangulists. Whatever they're called.
Percussionists.
Yeah, but percussionists do more than just triangle.
You can't get by just playing triangle these days. You got to have like a whole crate of shit with
That's
you.
my
say, if
point.
you get by just playing triangle, sign me up.
Look, I'm sure Slipknot has a triangulist somewhere
But he's
in
probably
amongst their
also-
12 members.
Yeah, he's the guy with the big nose. He plays it with it.
Oh, cowbell. Cowbell!
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Did it. 2 single note instruments.
But ultimately, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons? Are these characters we know and love? Is this a show we know and love?
I mean, carbon copies. We've done all this before better, but I don't think there's any kind of huge integrity breaks.
Yeah, it's all pretty watered down. I was surprised myself with not knowing what the next word was.
Yeah, because like we were saying before, it's like absent-minded Homer rather than purposefully.
For the most part, is hiding the fact that he didn't want to bring Lisa altogether. But that was a good, heart moment. I just wish they'd spent more time in it.
Yeah, and I feel like it was weird that he sucks up to Duffman so much, but I don't know if it's weird. I don't know, it was a little bit, it wasn't enough motivation for me to justify Homer, like his whole dedication
Duffman
to it.
as an icon, I can see him worshipping, but as an actual person who has problems, you'd think he'd be like, oh, you're not as much fun as I thought you'd be.
Yeah, I'm here to spray beer on chicks and party down.
Yeah.
Yeah, surely that should be Homer's revelation as well. Like, that, here's a girl that should be idolizing you and you're spending all your time idolizing a person that doesn't really deserve you anyway.
Yeah, there's something there. That's the thing about this episode. There's something here. It's not complete, but...
No, it's very fucking first drafty, I feel. Like, and like the kind of first draft where, major plot points should change. So, we've kind of covered it, but what would you like to change about this episode?
All those things I said before, but louder.
Okay, Bill.
I'm going to flip the script on its head and tell you one thing I did like was where Lisa went, I hope Duffman loses this election. And Homer goes, wash your mouth out with beer. And magically Bart appears, I think, for maybe his only line in the whole episode.
Yep.
And says, I think he should lose the election too, right in here. And just points to his mouth. I was like, that seems like a quick thinking Bart. I like that. Made me laugh. I feel like we've covered it.
Yeah, on that, I kind of wanted to see Lisa campaign for Barley and Hops, the two female Duff mascots, and breaks her dad's heart.
Yeah, I reckon that you could just drop 95% of the election stuff.
Oh,
know
definitely.
that there's election on, know that Duffman's in trouble. That's all you need.
Or just, Duff picking a new mascot. Like, it doesn't have to be that convoluted. Like, and Homer gets wind of it and campaigns independently to keep Duffman.
Yeah, it just seems like it was not a bad idea. I think there's a lot of good starts to ideas in this episode, but not a lot of great working this next step out. Like, the writing wasn't bad. There wasn't anything that was super clunky or really terrible. Most of the jokes landed at least through a sniff through the nose. There weren't any too many laugh out loud moments, but I feel like it's, maybe they just didn't work quite enough on this one as they could have. And they were contractually obliged to give whoever voices Duffman a bit more airtime. And maybe they were trying to bring out a Duffman NFT and they wanted to get a bit more airtime for him.
Fuck, I can't wait for The Simpsons to take that on.
That's going to be a rich episode in 3 years' time.
Well, because I wanted to bring a season 34 episode today because, Phil, you haven't reviewed one yet. And I think with this as well, brings you once again caught up to, you've at least reviewed one episode from every season on the index.
Nice.
That was my aim. So now I will leave. Goodbye.
Bring you back for season 35, though.
Yeah, I'll talk to you in a year. Not before.
But, like, because this season has had, like, a few stories that have, like, hit big on social media because, like, conceptually they're really interesting or whatever. Like, they did a whole episode which was a parody of It, and the Treehouse of Horror as well had a Death Note parody that was pretty well received. Then they had another one which was, like, a kind of a sketch show almost, which was cyber attackers took over The Simpsons and leaked stories or something. Anyway,
Right.
a lot of people have been raving about it. I didn't think much of it, but I didn't want to review those ones just yet because they kind of are like in the zeitgeist at the moment. And I wanted to review one from the handful of episodes that have just kind of slipped through the...
We don't need no zeitgeist.
Yeah.
We'll wait till the hype dies down and then we'll tell you what we think.
Yeah, because, it's totally part of the whole Simpsons is great again campaign, which... I'm not kind of believing,
Is that a campaign?
It feels like it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, especially since it's gone to Disney, it just feels like people are going, oh, Simpsons is finally good again. And it's like, there's been like...
There's been improvement.
There's been improvements. Like, they seem to have put Jerk-Ass Homer to the side for the most part.
I will say from like my recent watchings of 33, I guess, and I've been watching a little bit of 32, they're not as bad as they have been, that's for sure. Like the bar has level...
Raised.
The level has raised, but it hasn't raised to an amazing point. But it's raised to this isn't complete trash.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's good. Well done, guys. It's very hard to bring a beloved 30-year-old comic show back to,
Yeah.
back from the dead.
For real.
Certainly unprecedented.
Yeah, well, I guess everything they do is unprecedented.
Yeah, at this stage, definitely.
Everything you do is unprecedented because nothing else exists like this.
Yeah, the Flintstones had fucking 6 seasons, and that
Oh, they're
was
going
the-
to bring it back.
Oh, don't say that out loud.
You know, they almost did with Seth MacFarlane as like the
Really?
head guy behind it.
Yeah, he's
So
already
many
in 40
dinosaur dick
shows.
jokes.
But yeah, he was totally going to redo the Flintstones and like redraw them in that Family Guy style and everything. And to my knowledge, it got very fucking close and was pulled the pin on at the last minute.
Good.
Yeah, right.
That doesn't sound like a great idea.
Has he done anything in the last 10 years? I haven't really
Yeah.
seen or heard of him for a long time.
Honestly, like he doesn't even write for Family Guy or American Dad anymore. He just comes in and does the voices and
It's them
Fuck
Are
all
they,
royalty
that.
still,
checks.
are they still on?
Yeah.
Cleveland show is long gone.
Mhm.
Well, that I mean, obviously. Wow, okay.
And then what, the Orville? He's got that too. Was that still going,
that's still
or-
going. I
Yeah.
think, out of
Oh.
everything, that and his fucking jazz CDs are his passion projects.
is what?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a shitload of jazz albums. Like, I don't think he's doing any original material. He's just going in and doing old standards. But
Yeah,
like,
He's enjoying it.
yeah, I mean, you can tell from early Family Guy, like he always tried to shoehorn in like old jazz
Yeah,
tunes.
as many songs as
Yeah.
he could.
I'm just trying to think of that one from where Peter joins a football team.
Oh, Shabupi.
Shaboopy. Was that an original song or did they make that?
No, that was from a musical.
Was it really amazing? All right,
Hmm.
there you go. I was going to say that I quite liked, like, I'm a big fan of The Orville. I think it's pretty well done. And the second season is mostly pretty good.
Yeah.
But every time I see Seth MacFarlane on it, I always just think of, this must be what Elon Musk thinks he looks like. Like a 3D rendered version of inside Elon Musk's brain.
Yeah.
Like perfect hair,
Mhm.
no wrinkled face, always seems to be facing straight to camera. I know.
Mm.
Anyway, The Orville. Pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't caught up fully on the third season yet, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. And like, I was surprised that he could do serious well. Like, because like, especially in the first couple of episodes, it sets him up to be more of a goofball. But then, like later on, he really fucking takes charge and is a believable captain. And
Yeah, I have read that like the first season, he had to do it Family Guy style to get Fox
to
who
kinda
it
get
was to get
through.
to do it.
yeah,
And
right.
then
then
it
could
kinda
turn into
got-
what they wanted.
Yeah, a bit more Star Trek-ious in nature, like the goodness of humanity and all that. And it does it pretty well. Like it does tackle some pretty socially heavy topics, and it does them, I think, in not a very ham-fisted way. And kind of, they always seem to look at both sides of things, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Season 3, I think it's season 3, there's a new character who turns up who is, for reason I'll tell you in a second, but is always just unexplainedly included in all the things that the head of the ship do. Like if they go to a meeting with the next, the council for this
Lorfians.
planet.
Yeah.
She goes, and then if they also have to go to battle stations and fly to fighter jet, she's there as well. And like, why the fuck is this chick in every single scenario? Turns out that's the girl he was dating in real life.
Right. I thought you were going to be like a plot twist that there was some kind of joke to it. Like,
Yeah, it turns out it was Seth MacFarlane upside down.
Yeah.
He fucking Temple of Doomed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the lead female in Temple of Doom was dating George Lucas.
Oh.
And that's why she got the job, despite
Right.
not being very good at it.
Didn't know that, no.
Actually, there was a cute
People
photo
dated
the other.
George Lucas?
Yeah. I've heard and seen some footage that we have his first wife to thank for Star Wars because she re-edited the X-Wing fight scenes, and the originals did not look very good.
Yeah, I have heard that as well.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the original.
I've seen comparison shots, and I don't know a lot about editing, but I was like, yeah, this flows a lot better.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I have heard that as well.
Anyway, it's time for everyone's final notes.
Candles. What? Oh. Now it's time for our final notes. Everyone's final notes.
No, damn it.
Phil, have you got some final notes?
Um,
Was that your one note?
ooh, yes. I do, but nothing really that I want to even. Oh, there's a whole. I know in the States there's a restaurant called P.F. Chang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know what that restaurant is. Their big section of the table of girl dads at P.F. Thongs with all their sexually suggestive menu items.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know if it's too much or went to too long because I don't know what P.F. Chang's is. If P.F. Chang's is like kind of like a Hooters, and I guess
I
that.
don't think it
Kinda
is.
works.
No, I think I'm pretty sure it's just Chinese fast food takeout.
Yeah, right. I just felt like they were okay, but it was just, a lot evolved on that. And then there was a callback to it when the agent got delivery, and he got delivery from P.F. Thongs as well,
Yeah.
which made me remember the first part of it, which made me remember that I thought it was too boring and went too long. So then I didn't like it.
It's just Chinese American-based casual dining restaurant chain.
Right. Oh, perfectly.
Perfect. That's what PF stands for.
Oh.
Perfect Changs.
I hope that's true.
I'm reading it off the Wikipedia right now.
All right.
He's not.
Okay. Well, Wikipedia's not wrong. I give them $5 a year.
Yeah, well, like, I don't know. I'm sure if I remembered it, like, similarly with the PF Changs, there were a lot. I don't know. It just wasn't a neat, concise joke like with that restaurant in the Itchy and Scratchy Land where they're all ordering, the baby guts and things like
brain
that.
burger with extra pus.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. And she orders the lamb.
Yeah. See, there was an actual, like, I don't know, kind of story in there, whereas this one, it was just, here's the list of things. And
Even so, that Itchy and Scratchy one bothers me. Did Marge just order the baby guts without looking at what it was?
she thought she was having fun.
So what's wrong with having lamb?
No, nothing. But like, then Lisa's like,
Oh, it's a
"Mom,
venison.
that's veal."
A veal. That's it.
And
Much
she's
worse
and
than
then she's
lamb.
like, surprised. It's like, did you not read what baby guts was? She was like, baby guts, Scar, bring me whatever that is.
Yeah, that's how I order off menus.
Okay.
What's the funnest sounding thing?
Ooh, veal. Wonder what this could be. So that was all your notes?
Not really, but that's all the notes I care about.
BT, do you have notes that you care about?
Let's see. Dr. Hibbert really sounds different, and I understand why that exists, but that's just going to take some getting used to.
I know it's like Kevin Michael Richardson is a very good vocal performer. I
Yeah.
don't understand why he didn't even at least try to go slightly Hibbert.
Yeah, because
Like,
it's a very distinct voice, and this is dramatically. So yeah, I'm a little vexed on that myself.
yeah.
But oh well, this is where we are. Let's see. There's a bit where Duffman says, "Oh, bring your daughter," and then there's a scene of Homer shaking Lisa awake and be like, "You're gonna go to a trip with me and Duffman." She's like, "Why would I do that?" Smash cut to Homer shaking awake Marge and be like, "Why would Lisa do this?" It's like, I
Yeah.
like that. That got me. And that when she's on their way to the Agatha Christie Museum, they rank her 10 reddest herrings. I thought that was pretty good. And yeah, the final reprise right at the end where they do the tea tray drop. And again, it's a quick because they have to have this fourth extra button on the episodes now for some reason. And usually they're elongated and annoying, and I dislike them. This was quick. This was stabby, and it worked.
But like they established that the Agatha Christie thing's closed for 3 months.
And Elliot, let me believe.
And it's also closed and being renovated into whatever the hell it was being renovated into. It was
100%.
literally the last day to see Agatha Christie Museum.
Yeah. So I agree. Like it for the
Oh, yeah.
bit in a bubble, but in the context of the episode, annoying.
Oh, yeah, and also the woman running the Agatha Christie Museum who's like, "Well, I'll unlock a lot of things for Duff Man, except this museum."
Yeah. Renata, was her name a reference to something?
Her name's Renata. She was a museum girl with a key in her pocket and no other way to lock it. That's all I've got. I'm fading out now.
That famous Agatha Christie song.
Murder on PF.
On the Copacabana.
Damn it. What the hell is the Cocoa Banner?
Place
A place? An idea?
within us all.
Mental state?
Nirvana.
I think it's called the Copacabana.
Well,
Yeah, how about you get out of here with your facts?
yeah. Will you put down the Google for a second?
Just go
Elliot?
light some more candles. Why
You
don't
wouldn't believe this, but Elliot's been reading all of his lines in this episode straight from Google's AI.
Oh, yeah. I have not taken notes. I'm just reading, straight from the plot dissection on simpsons.fandom.wiki or whatever
Yeah,
the
no,
fuck that website
he's
is.
on the Wikipedia for Simpsons Index, reading what he already said.
Yeah, what he wrote 6 months ago.
The Copacabana is a New York City nightclub
There
that
you go.
also existed in several locations.
I thought it was
So it's
an
like
island.
a PF Chang's of nightclubs.
Yeah, the PF Chang of nightclubs.
Way more thongs than your average PF Chang's, but not as many as your average PF thongs. Yeah.
It's a nice balance.
Yeah. That's a hell of a catchy byline as well.
See some thongs.
Again, I was reading that all from the Wikipedia. then.
None of this is Elliot's ideas.
I'm not even looking at these guys, just straight at the computer.
Yep. Very rude.
I did like a lot of the book gag jokes in this. I didn't even mind Krusty's one, which was like, yeah, my advice when your daughter publishes a tell or memoir, don't write a response one. And his memoir was,
Now something like
I failed you on every level. Is that what you wanted to hear?
Yeah, I feel like Krusty's autobiography rebuttal book would have been much more,
we've been like, first of all, here's why you're wrong.
much more attacking rather than you're right in every way.
The Duff car, I liked how that was like modeled on the
The old-
66
yeah.
Batman.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. And I didn't mind the parody name for TMZ, TMI. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, that works.
All this while you've been kissing Duffman's cans. Good pun there, Lisa.
Yeah, but just hung on it for too long.
Oh, yeah. You knew that
Like,
was setting
really
up.
just-
She's not going to say ass. What she go? Cans.
I was
Yeah.
expecting to say ass, and I'm like, oh.
I was just reading can singular, but yeah, weird.
This weird can. It's time we rank this thing. On the Simpsons Index, we rank using a 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. Maybe if the episode was just, you give it participant. But for the positive rankings, you got okay bronze, good silver, excellent gold, but for the best of the very best, the episodes which you can't get enough of. You give Cubic Zirconia. I'm going to go first. Let me show you how it's done. Getting a big old participant from me. Again, echoing the points.
Yeah.
It didn't do nearly enough to deserve a failure, but fuck me, I didn't really get much joy out of this one. It was just plotting and boring and, yeah, BT.
Yeah, I'm in much the same way. You could argue a bronze because it is at least a plot that makes sense, and we've seen so many that aren't. But it's just, this is going to drift right through the brain. There's not a whole lot to grip onto. It's fine. If you got laundry to fold, pop this one on. That'll do.
Phil?
I think I'm going to be slightly controversial. I was going to go bronze, but it wasn't badly done. It was just not done well enough. And I'm edging to maybe give it a silver.
Wow.
Well, it's not good, but like you say, it wasn't bad enough that got my ear.
Yeah, none of us really have hard complaints like, fuck this
Yeah,
bit.
I just
that
felt like
sucked.
if they'd given it 2 more days, they could have had the story could have been much
Could have a
tighter.
thoughtful episode, yeah.
Oh, silver's
But then,
pretty high.
yeah, the fact that I feel like we had some better ideas in this room really speaks to its issues.
Yeah,
in the
that
sense,
happens all the time.
yeah, I know.
Especially for the cubic zirconias. Oh my god. They could be double cubics if they had us in the writers'
If
room.
only they tried harder.
Double cubics. I think I'm going to put it as a silver.
Wow.
Wow.
Just because
It is
its
competent.
mediocrity kind of makes it better than being less mediocre. Like there was a lot of good threads there, and they just didn't pull them all out to get the right. It was almost like they had the right idea and they had a good starting point, and then they just kind of fell over at the beginning.
Fair enough.
So I'm not even certain about that myself, and
Yep.
I might have a last minute change. But at the moment, I'm going to go with a silver.
You can always call Jordan at 3 a.m. and change your rank.
Well, I mean, that about does it for the episode. So, yeah, if you got going to reconsider, your time is running out.
I'll just let him stew for a little bit.
No, I feel like.
I'll just let
No,
him stew.
I'm going to keep it silver. I feel like
Alright.
it needs to be a bronze, but I
Alright.
like them getting better. So I'm going to
Sure.
give them a silver encouragement award.
I'll chisel that in stone, please, Elliot.
Yeah, that is done. And I think that'll average out as a shiny bronze, if I remember.
How
How
math
that-
works.
Yeah, I think. Anyway, it'll be around that ballpark, which is fine. Good for it.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. It's like, oh, you made a Simpsons. Well done.
Yeah.
I saw it
I'm going to put this on the fridge.
on the side of the fridge.
Yeah.
All right. Phil, do you have anything to plug?
I don't, but if you ask me in X number of weeks, I will tell you all about our new podcasts, Big Questions from Small Minds, where if you like stupid guys asking really smart professors
Do I?
questions that they think are funny and other questions from really smart kids who want to know about science, then it's the podcast for you. It's the perfect balance between dad jokes and interesting kid science stuff. You should listen to it in your car with your kids to and from school, even if they're not in the car. Coming soon when we finish all the post-production.
Yep.
Is the language acceptable for children?
The language is super acceptable for children.
There we go. Super acceptable. Not like
Yeah.
this fucking show.
Yeah, there's all kinds of words that kids can learn.
Yeah.
Some of them we can't say. You can laugh at me mispronouncing many, many scientific facts and being corrected by professors. Even sometimes the professors' names.
That's only
Oops.
Well, you know, meh.
Words and names are hard.
Things are hard.
Yep. Because you said you're in the edits now. Are you having to do bleeps and censors or anything like that?
No,
or?
we're pretty controlled. All the professors are beyond reproach. Everyone is very professional, very thoughtful about what they say, and we try and hold it in. We haven't
Yeah.
haven't come across anywhere we've expletive ourselves out of an episode by any means.
Yeah.
But it depends on. I'm not sure where the E for everyone rating sits, but I think if you're offended by the word fart or butt, this is not the podcast for you. But if you find those hilarious, get on board.
Dude, that'll be a hit with the kids. They
They'll
love that shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, the
was
questions
weird.
we get from the kids, so we farm out the questions to kids to art. We go, all the kids that we know, we're like, hey, we're talking to this type of professor, like a nanorobotics professor or a rocket scientist or a volcanologist who is, in fact, knows nothing about Vulcans, the race, all about volcanoes.
Gasp.
Or
And-
Vulcan
yeah.
the Gladiator from the Australian TV show.
Also
Gladiator.
that, yeah, that's the subspecies of volcanators. But we're like, what questions do you have for these professors? Every single episode, a kid will ask a question about farts, regardless of what you think it's
into
for.
a volcano.
I think it was, are volcanoes the Earth's farts?
I mean, I want to know.
Yeah, and the other one, what was the nanorobotic one? Was do nanorobots if I ate a nanorobot, would it make me fart?
Not will it pass through successfully without
Yeah.
damage to me.
No.
Will the grey goo that consumes the earth fart?
Yeah, it's the one consistent that we know from every episode.
Oh,
and,
well.
and
Fair.
the kids' questions are much more smarter than our questions.
All right. Well, yeah, big questions from small minds. Is
Big
it?
questions from small minds.
Wonderful. We'll drop links in the show notes when that becomes available. But until then, BT, tell them what is available.
Well, they can go right now to patreon.com/sidequeststudios. That is the blanket for everything that we do here, and for as little as $5 a month, that's right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can get access to over 100 exclusive podcasts available right this very second. That is just hundreds, literally hundreds of hours of free entertainment. Not free, it's $5.
Is it false advertising claiming that it's a blanket?
Did I say blanket or umbrella?
You said blanket.
Okay, I usually say umbrella. So it's a blanket for your heart. It's a warming, soothing comfort of knowing you can hear myself and Elliot talk on a wide variety of topics, like the DVD extras that, should you check them out, well, we can tell you. Other things like all the episodes I missed, and our most recent show is where we're reviewing movies the cast of The Simpsons have been in, but not as you know them.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, so you would have seen on the feed last week, we gave you a teaser, a little taste of this show where after a lengthy tournament, This is Spinal Tap was chosen as the movie that we were going to unlock from the paywall and release out there. But all the other movies that were on there, you can listen to our reviews of them now, including, Godzilla 98, Super Mario 93, Rugrats 2003.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Some crap you never heard of.
Some real current stuff there.
Yep. This Is My Life, a movie where Marge is a stand-up comedian that neglects her daughters.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It was.
Kind of a bummer of a movie.
I
But
assume you mean the voice actor who plays
Yeah.
Marge.
yeah. It's not
Right.
just like Marge Simpson, like
watched-
She's
Who
not walking around
Framed
with,
Roger Rabbit
A
style.
cardboard cutter of Marge
Yeah.
Simpson.
Yeah. We watched Click with Adam Sandler. You can make us watch Adam Sandler movies if you
Oh,
join
yeah.
the Patreon and find
I should have done that.
find a movie the cast of The Simpsons were in with him. You have that power.
Do the thing again and I'll find an Adam Sandler movie for you.
It's probably coming around to
Yeah.
your turn again. So,
Yes. Prepare to die, suckers.
Yeah, cool.
so yeah, that is a Patreon perk as well. That if you sign up at the $5 tier, you can select a movie for us to review, and as long as it stars a cast member of The Simpsons, we'll review it.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, I think that about covers it. And you're still cool with that, Silver?
Yes. Yeah, I've actually forgotten about it, is how cool I am with it. Just like this episode.
Yep. All right. Well, that about does it. And that's been Philip Wolf.
I've been here all night.
And that's been BT Calloway.
I have no further comments about candles.
And I've been Elliot J. O'Neill, your candle maker. What a crappy candle. That's all the mustard in the house. Ooh, a mustard candle.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Ooh, Dijon.
You could do a range of mustard
It would
candles.
sting your eyes.
Wouldn't have
Oh,
to be
yeah,
actually
mustard gas.
Ooh, that's...
You don't want
I
mustard
don't know
in
how
your
we got
eyes.
to mustard gas. so
I don't have to
quickly.
go to mustard gas.
Is mustard gas made out of mustard?
I think it's just mustard colored.
coloured, yeah.
Ah, right.
Steve, you can tell who's watched a lot of World War One documentaries.
Not this, Kaiser. All right, bye.
Thank you for listening to the Simpsons Index podcast, which is also an online spreadsheet available at thesimpsonsindex.com. You can also check out our other shows, like Pulp Fury Radio, our scripted fiction podcast, which tells all original stories across a range of pulp genres, and Thrones of Game, where we review Game of Thrones in reverse order. Links to those podcasts and more will be available in the show notes. And now please stay tuned for the bonus scenes!
I did notice today on the footpath of Marrickville, they have painted on posters on the footpath that say, "You're on the Marrickville Ale Crawl."
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, that's a weird thing for the council to promote.
Yeah.
Like, just walk to this pub, and now walk to this pub. Walk to this pub. Don't get drunk, though. Now walk to this pub.
Drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly and slowly. Or quickly. But
Yeah, if you scrape that sticker off, beneath it says drink responsibly. So
Maybe.
they did say it.
maybe if you throw up on it, then it's
wow.
like, you've had too much. Like scratch and sniff, but the opposite.
Hurl and see.
Copyright that. Hurl and
Fuck
see.
around and find out.
I think they also have a QR code on them as well, which shows you, the way to the next one and then the next one after that and
Oh, right.
the ideal route and things like that.
I mean, it is a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea for a person. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that the council did it.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of the things that old Marrickville is known for.
Support local. Yeah.
Oh, if you went to every bar and brewery in Marrickville, you would be dead. There's like 20 breweries now. It's
Yeah. No, my brother and his friends all came down and we did a beer crawl like a couple of weeks ago and we only really had time to hit up 7 venues, but even then, because they're brewery beers as well, they're like a lot stronger generally.
they certainly got their haymakers in there.
yeah.
yeah.
Here's the one we only serve here. It's 10% and can strip paint. Yeah.
Like Six Strings Brewery did like a quadruple strength red IPA for Christmas.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
Because there is a limit. Like you get anything above an 8, and it's just that.
Yeah.
It's like absorbs all the moisture out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then you're getting into stout territory as well. And I tried that, quadruple red IPA, and I'm like, this is like the borderline, if a beer is a spectrum, this is just where it hits before it becomes a stout.
Yeah, it's basically literally on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that. Yeah, that seems dangerous. Dangerous and probably gross.
But yeah, what I discovered from all the breweries in the area, though, is a lot of them don't have air conditioning.
Oh, yeah,
That's
because they're
annoying.
just mostly just sheds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be the theme if I were to open one in the area. Just
Air
cold.
conditioning.
Yeah.
Cool Elliot's Beer Palace.
Yeah. Drink in our fridge.
The cool room is the pub.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. And the cool room is the front of the bar that you
Yeah.
have to walk into.
Yeah.
So it's like a speakeasy where you walk into a giant fridge and then walk out the back of it into a bar that's also cooled.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that was the other thing as well. Like, all our beers would get warm by the time we were half done with them as well, because it was a particularly hot day.
Ugh.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the only reprieve was like when we went to Hawke's Brewery, but that's like more a Chinese restaurant than it is a brewery.
Also, it's always packed.
Oh, and it's fucking unreal as well.
Yeah, the Chinese there is amazing.
You've had it?
Yeah, really quite good.
Yeah.
But I remember the day it opened, and I'm like, man, I told you, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but when I first moved to the Inner West, my 2 takeaways were people in the Inner West love lining up for something, and they also love not using footpaths.
Right.
If you can walk on the road and you live in the Inner West, that's what you're doing.
I know that happens near me and it drives me bonkers. I don't know why people keep doing it.
Yeah, it happens all
It's
the time.
like there is a footpath. Use it so you don't die.
Yeah, Nita will do it all the time. We'll be walking up a street and I'll be like, should we be on the footpath? And she's like, no. Like, but it's there.
Yeah, for a
and
purpose.
there's no cars on it.
You know what, to be fair, when I'm like going for a walk, there are a couple of roads which I'll generally walk on the road on because the footpath is that slanted or that fucked up or chewed up or
If
whatever.
it's fucked up, fine. But we're
Yeah.
talking about perfectly good footpaths.
Let's just say reasonably serviceable.
How's that microphone, headphone rather doing? Reasonably serviceable or?
Bit clicky, but I'll carry on.
Eh,
Somebody talks.
It's not going to
over
be, a way for you to
No.
test it if, we all just like
Look
shut
at
up
it.
and
Stare
stare.
at it and
Yeah,
try to
everyone's just
decide by
looking.
looking at it.
Fuck, Lisa had another good one as well, but I don't think I wrote it down. Did you guys remember any of the Agatha Christie ones as well?
No.
I swear I wrote it. Oh, yeah, A Trifle for the Governor.
No, I don't know enough of the Agatha Christie canon to know what the puns are.
No, the most familiar I am with it is the works of B.T. Calloway, who wrote a Agatha Christie-like radio play for Pulp Fury Radio.
Yeah, available now wherever good podcasts are heard.
If you like murder and you like large locomotives, then
Yep.
this is the podcast for you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
More trains than a blues song.